I too rise to support Amendment Ever Cui and Ever Dr. McNamara. And again, I'm bemused, intrigued, I suppose. Deputy McNamara was mentioning how the foresight that Minister Bruton had. Well, Minister Bruton is around his house a long time. I think he's a taher on talk. But and why, I'd love to know why Minister Try during his term changed here. See, this is what intrigues me mostly about what's going on with this government and past governments, and you know, they're able to be manipulated. And with the first the people here, we don't represent our people. If good enough Spain can legislate for this, why can't we? With the dear oil prices in Europe, if not farther afield, gas, electricity, you name it. We thought when we made the breakthrough, we decoupled the wind, clean energy from the so-called fossil fuel, we get a breakthrough. In many areas we thought we get breakthroughs. And Deputy Healy-Rae referred to his leader's question with the Taoiseach, and he could only go back to 2021 about the price of fertiliser. There's agencies there, and there's watchdogs, and there's regulators, and there's a plethora of officials meant to be watching all these areas. And what are they doing? Because if the farmer makes a mistake, or if the farmer has incorrect information or by accident, not by accident in his application forms, he's severely penalised. So it's time that other people are meant to carry the can if they make mistakes. And it's time that this government, your government, especially Minister McConnell, Minister Hayden, defend the farmers. Challenge, as we said earlier on, we talked about the beef barons, the feedlots, the way that has all diminished the small family farms, and indeed has gone into such big, powerful entities, and what's going on. Now we have it again here, you know, with what's going on with the fertiliser. It's shocking. And I want to salute the small suppliers as well, like the Pat Myers in South Tipperary and indeed in East Cork, and many others that are there. And indeed, when farmers struggled with bad springs and shortages of fodder, these small people, they have the ethos now that the co-ops was set up to. The South Tipperary farmers didn't become Avonmore, didn't become Glanbry, and God knows what to kill law now, whatever it is. They're going off into multi-billion industries. And they've forgotten where their roots were. They've forgotten where they came from. Of the people, for the people, to help the people. And with great leaders in farming areas like T.J. Maher and even Joe Ray, who was a friend of mine, and many people like that, and other areas as well. So, I mean, and a farming organisation, and they marched to Dublin, like the Mocker did here today. So, what is wrong? Where is the inertia in this government and the last government, a number of governments, to serve the people who are elected to, our ordinary citizens, and to try and get the best price for them? In this case, get the best price for the farmers for the cheap, the reasonable price fertiliser, so that they don't have to add on the price. We all know if you put up the oil, and you voted for it here last week, you voted to put back excise on fuel prices again by up to 23 cents a litre by October. That's going to add up to more inflation. Sure, a kindergarten pupil in school would know that. And you vote blindly for it. And the Taoiseach then was yesterday answering a question that he expected oil prices to come down further. And he had to vote 2 nights before all his deputies to put it up. Or sorry, a week before. So I don't know what he expects. You're playing mind games with the people. So we need to assert, and we need to have governments and departments and the likes of Board B and the other agencies to serve the people that are set up to serve. No good in having fine fancy officers and regulators with a blast plate on the wall outside and fancy furniture and a nice title if they're toothless, useless and fruitless. And that's what they are, because they're not set up to tackle. It's a runaway train as regards the big supermarkets, as regards now what used to be ordinary farmers' cooperatives, now the multi-billion industries. And what they do in other parts of the world is more important than they were looking after the basic farming, family farm and ordinary farmers. It's not happening. And governments here should be looking after our people. Why is it that fertiliser is cheaper in Northern Ireland and other EU countries? Why is it that the fuel is cheaper? Why is it that electricity is cheaper? Why is it that gas is cheaper? Why is it that we're the dearest in the class for everything? Why is that? Have we lost our will to live? Are we taking our instructions from other powers that are not elected to this House at all? Deputy Ray mentioned the Citizens' Assembly. I won't even go there. Any kind of an issue you have now that you want to cloak and confuse and subjugate, you set up a Citizens' Assembly. Surprised there wasn't one called today for some other topic. We're talking about everything is into the Citizens' Assembly. Hand-picked people then, and no proper representation by the sector that we're talking about. So, is any wonder the mocker came today with such dignity and such respect and such, a plea, an honest goodness plea? There wasn't a bad word among them, or any kind of traffic blockades or anything else in the cooperation with the Gardaí, with the mantra to be allowed to live in rural Ireland, to be allowed to have a fair living, to be allowed to build houses, to be allowed to have the self-determination within the laws of the land, but not to be forced out of existence and literally squeezed out of business and exterminated and import all our foodstuff from all over the world. What about the carbon footprint there? Sure, I mean, the thing is an upside-down world that we're dealing with, upside-down country, certainly what we're doing, importing those kind of foods. And we see every year, we see more and more and more, as Deputy McGrath said earlier, horticulture farmers and people growing potatoes and growing carrots and all those pastures, everything else, being forced out of business. And when they're all gone then, the low-cost sellers, and I won't name them, but we know who they are, they'll charge what they like on imported food that sometimes is as dry as a bloody an old ram's horn that was cut off a year ago and thrown in the bucket of the ditch. You couldn't eat it. Unhealthy, and the carbon emissions that come off that and the transport of it to Ireland. So stand up and serve the people you're elected to serve. Stop serving the big moguls. Thank you.